So here we go. Mr. TealDolphin. TealDolphin. He's at 2600. King's Row, Orisa Hog, Rein. So let's give it a shot. 30 people yelling about getting banned and whatnot in chat. Seems like a typical 2800 level game. Okay. Your Widow got the picks. I mean, you're good for like 10 seconds, 15 seconds. Apparently your Widow is spawn camping him? I would say you are pushed up a lot right now. So this next shield, you should probably fall back a little bit if your team isn't. Oh, got a couple kills again. But basically, you want to start planning for falling back soon. Alright, this one you need to get back. Oh, no. Okay, that's good enough. Falling back a little bit. I mean, your Widow's getting a lot of picks. Perfect. That was good. Yep, press up a little bit. Yep, hold the choke. Your team can handle that person. You're better off at the choke point. Whoa! Look at that, one too many P's. So that's the disadvantage of only running in Orisa. Is this a loss? Okay. Okay. So far, so good. When you only have an Orisa for bubble, when they start pressing up, it's dangerous doing what you just did because of the Rein ult.
I'm getting sniped right now.
Mercy half, Mercy half. Mercy one.
Wouldn't worry about her. Just keep damage on the people that you have a higher percentage of hitting. So it wasn't terrible. I mean, it was a good defense. Your Widow coming in picks. But it looks like as soon as they walk through, I think they got a couple picks from that slam, and then the eventual spawn advantage finally came into him for him. If an enemy picks off two of your teammates when you're engaged, it's better to fall back and exit the enemy ult.
Maybe change out Trog, I don't know. They only have,
I would not answer either of those. It basically, can you get out or not? If you can get out alive, do it.
You could maybe just go Reinhardt and double shield against their solo fucking damage.
Their guy's pissed off already. Or your teammate's already pissed off. So it's always fall back. This is actually a little bit too close. I'm just never a fan pushing up this close. Okay. That's what I was really worried about, but
Yeah.
you got it all.
Where?
So yeah, your question was more about if you can get out or not. If it looks like you're not going to get out, just die immediately. You can with your alt charge and get out, or die. And so far, so good. You're doing Orisa, you know, what you should be doing. At this point, you should be backing up. Like, you can feel the pressure. You're down at the person. You lost your Mercy. They lost their Orisa. They still got Bongos. They lost Bongos. They got their Orisa back. So... Oh.
These guys are so low damage on a Genji that we just, wait. Oh shit.
Right one.
Wow, we got wiped.
Well, that exact same thing happened again, where he just steps through the shield and ults. The only thing I'm really noticing, it's not even your play, it's the general flow of things. It's like, when I feel combat getting pushed against me, are the times like I back up. I just have this feeling, I can see what kill, like, how many picks we got, how many picks they got. Like, where should we be holding?
Alright, Diva, get ready.
And you're okay for a couple of them, but then
Oh wow.
there's like a third push where you're just a little bit too deep.
Zarya one.
Oh, get that Reinhardt next to you. Reinhardt's kill you. At this point, you should have just died. All of this is just delaying your own spawn.
You're faster than me?
Important to keep in mind when using Orisa's ultimate. You want to put it... You always want to use Orisa's ult. Not always, but a good portion of the time. Where are you at, King's Row? Basically a corner. Like, if you want to hold here, you put it on the corner. So essentially you can push up a little bit, and they'll still get boosted here. They get boosted across the corner. Maybe not this far back, but essentially you just want to break line of sight from the team that's pushing up this way. So, I mean, right here is good. Essentially, if they want to kill it, they have to come closer to you to get the angle to get this kill. Right, technically, so the farther left... Well, I mean, the farther left, if you put it way over here, like, they would have to actually be past this dotted line. That makes them the most vulnerable, but then you have to go way over here to use it, and it actually becomes vulnerable to this side. So, I mean, if you just put it around here, you want to make them work for it, you want to make them come as close to you as possible to destroy it. Basically, an Orisa charger here and here. The only difference is if you have your teammate pushing up this wall. Basically, know your angles is what it comes down to. Like, it doesn't hit people on this wall since it's line of sight. So, but most of the fighting is going to be done right here. That way you can keep it up for the most amount of time. 50% damage is huge. It builds ult very quickly. It's good. All right.
Shit.
I just want to check something. That rolled quick. Yeah, here's where you just died. It double ulted. After that ult, they get 3 kills, and that's going to be the game. Yep. So that is just kind of the Reinhardt-Orisa matchup, and they lose right after that. Did he cut the time in between off? I think he did. So the whole deal when you're running solo shield, Orisa against the Reinhardt, is Reinhardt can just step through everything. And specifically, he'll get bubbled, he'll step through the shield, and then ult. And there's little to nothing anyone can do about it on your team. The best you can do is just put the shield back more, so when he comes around a corner, like he can't just come around a corner and do that. And I think that pushing up is what's allowing him to do this. Essentially, he's only visible for like 2 seconds before... Alright, so that opened up... So this right here was a bit too telegraphed. Actually, it was way too telegraphed. You came in this way. You're not even throwing down a shield. You ran this way. And when anyone sees this, you're just going to get split in two. The enemy team's going to cut off your reinforcements. If they don't, they're done. This is exactly what you do. Sun Tzu always says that, use something to divide them in two, if you can. This time, you just use yourself. You're the river. You didn't even put up a bubble here to, like, protect everyone back here. You put up a bubble here to stop people. Like, this bubble, or this shield is a little bit too only in your own interest. You could have easily fortified and got around the corner and started doing this. But the problem is Orisa's slow, so your rotation was really slow. You didn't give anyone defense here, so they're just going to go right back at your back. At least put a shield here, shoot some shots, and then, well, like, the 8-second cooldown is coming up, go this way. But yeah. So you can see them right here, they're diving between your team. They're already behind you.
I'm hitting them all in the back line back there.
Yep.
I don't know. Maybe we can get this Reinhardt.
What?
Nope.
Sorry, I do is force the turret, you're right there.
A little bit of flank Zisa. I'm not even trying to make that name flanky.
Done one in the back.
Alright, so this... I know I always say play against the hero, not the player. But...
I have ults.
At this point in time, it's pretty obvious you're...
I don't know. Fuck, don't worry, it's me. Just save it.
Alright, he went hog. Their Reinhardt, he plays very aggressive, and that's something you can take advantage of.
See it up.
You should start noting that in your head. Maybe that's why you went hog.
I'm with you, Hog. Try to protect me if they like.
Zarya still doesn't have grab. Oh no, dude, he just ulted right on me. That was fucked.
Just get on... Honestly, if you're doing that, yes, get right on top of him.
Oh wow.
Oh, come on.
The barrier was
There's a giant shield in your way.
through a hook.
70% on grab.
Let's run a barrier tank, shield tank.
Okay.
And then we
Grab
can just
40
walk right through
seconds.
these guys. This guy's not infected.
Now they know you're here. Try to get her to use the shield first.
Left side, let's get the left.
Alright, that was a weird windup. Don't be afraid just to throw hooks up there. Remember, it's 20 meters.
We need to go the same way. We're splitting up like 3 ways.
no, dude, you ulted during
I got
his
it.
ult.
I got it. I got clean up. Nice shot.
Okay, it'll work. I wonder if he just submitted it for that
Close.
for this
Their
move.
Symmetra is actually pretty good.
So good shield.
So you gotta throw your hook a couple times while you're
Yeah,
waiting
some
up there.
shield
I
tank.
just used one.
And technically, instead of throwing it from way over here to way over here, you could have went out this way and dropped, or you could have went way out this way and dropped right on top of him. Basically, you waited here for 3 or 4 seconds. That was time that you could have done to get deeper.
She come to me when let the other 3 push.
Try not to get in my way.
There's Reinhardt.
Shit, this area is gonna be hella charged.
Both areas are gonna be full
Oh,
charge.
he's gonna res that though. Maybe I can ult it time.
Nice.
I
Not
only
really.
shoot
One's up.
Zarya's bubble when I know I can
Okay.
kill her.
There you go. Got her.
Damn, shield him.
Yep, get back on there and get that shield up.
Sorry, I was finishing up Zarya. I can't
They're all one.
El
they're all-
Presidente.
Yeah, we're gonna roll through these guys here.
I'm moving the payload.
Reinhardt. I mean, you haven't done much, so far so good.
Touch from afar.
Yep. Just hold your shield out. Oh.
Nice spot, Bastion.
Bastion jumped up there. Alright, with this, you press up, you got ult. So now you're looking to press through the shield and see how many you can get. See if the Reinhardt split up from their team. If you can just get a... Oh, way too early. You need to... You have to see what they're doing before you can react to it. I would just say that was an uneducated... And by that, I mean... When we look at the old apply pyramid... where's that? You did it without any information. So I mean, as far as I'm concerned, it was a blind stun, which it didn't need to happen. Yeah, he does cut out the middleman here. So you have to, you just gotta wait. You have to react. Don't try to go for that big play blindly like some pros do. I mean, I get it, but the pros are doing it in an educated way. They know what's going to happen. To some extent. That was truly blind, and you were only going for the Reinhardt,
Bastion.
who was bubbled.
I have 1 HP, guys, literally.
Zarya top left.
Bastion. Yeah.
Oh, their Reinhardt's way out of position. Damn, he's
Shield
1
on point.
HP in there. Oh, he's getting healed, he's getting healed, fall back. Shit.
There, I think you did fine. The problem was...
Shield wars. We're gonna lose. We're gonna nip on this.
Well, your team, did they move with you?
We can't contest. Who's in there right now?
No one was hoping you focused
Tracer.
Bastion.
We're not going for a shield battle.
It's too risky, dude. We need to just regroup.
Yeah, regroup.
We don't want to stagger ourselves. The Hanzo's gonna ult. They have a Hanzo and a Zarya. Maybe we should just draw it out, like push in and try and die. I don't even know.
No. It's gonna be overtime, so it doesn't matter if they cap this point or not. Bait them to you. Bait them to you.
Keep that shield up. Ooh.
Back up. Your shield's gonna be
Bastion
gone.
kit. My shield's gone now.
Yep.
just used all their ults.
Everything but Grav.
There was like no chance of that working.
They might have Grav Shatter.
Solo Rein. It was a solo Rein. You're going through a choke point, so it's not like anyone can get behind the Bastion. No one was focusing on him. It was literally you in the middle of a field against the Bastion. Like, he is going to crush you, especially when your shield's already at half health.
You need to switch, dude. Why did you go Tracer out of nowhere? You just waiting
Oh,
for
and you
full
just lost
spawn?
McCree. So this is, I mean,
Grav, my shield's
Did the
down.
barrier, the charge. With the charge, with the charge.
This guy
yeah,
wasn't
your team
doing
got staggered
earlier,
there.
Just win Tracer, and now we have no teamwork.
Nope.
Yep, there it is. I have no
You-
shield. Can't do anything.
So, oh my, when you have to fight a Bastion, you got to jump on top of them. You essentially you can't post up here because the Bastion is going to be shooting you while it's moving this way. You have to reduce the amount of time that Bastion can see you. It's really simple. I don't know how else to put it. I see this issue actually comes up more often than not. It's about, and this is all Overwatch, it's about lowering your visibility towards your enemy and increasing their visibility for you. The longer they stay in your sights, the more you can damage them. The longer you're not in their sights, the longer you can live. It's just kind of how to say it. You're thinking about survival first, which I think is the way to do it, because if you can live for 2 to 3 seconds longer, you can get those kills, and then from there you can start snowballing. But don't sit here and expect to stop a Bastion that was over here. He has, right here, he has a sight line on you. As if it takes you 3 seconds to get to him, you're too far away. So either you have to, with your entire team, the problem is your team got picked off. You either need to sit right here and wait until the Bastion comes right around the corner, so there's a very short distance. But once you lost a guy or two, you had to go back. Yeah, I would actually say you probably have to go back to spawn, because you can't hold against the pirate ship. If you put that shield up, as you've been noticing, it goes down in 5 seconds. So, it's more about your teammates getting picked off, because it was kind of a 4v6 on a pirate ship, which you're not really taking. You have to dive that, and there's nothing you can do to really do that. Solo. You'd have to hide somewhere, and then get behind the whole team and get them.
Fine, just stay with me.
And right now, like, you just got 2 people spawned up. There's a third. Even going around this corner is a little risky. Yep.
What do I do there? What do I do there?
Without your shield up for like solid 10 seconds.
He even says it, what do I do there? You can try to charge in front of the payload, try to break line of sight.
Reinhardt, you're not shielding for our Bastion at all.
There you go. I think the McCree just said he wasn't shielding for the Bastion at all.
I doubt they've ever solo tanked for this.
Oh, we see him talking a lot. We're gonna skip over the talking.
I let Mercy heal you.
I mean, you clearly had your shield up. It's just that
Fire strike.
the Bastion was killing it. There you go.
Shield.
And this is where teams get befuddled. So, and this is also why teams hate Junkrat. Don't sit in the choke point. Don't ever just stop and do nothing. Either you're not pushing and you're not taking damage, or you're pushing and you're using your shield to bust through the choke point. That's actually why a lot of people at lower ranks hate Junkrat, is that they sit in choke points for too long. And they just take so much damage, and they're like, oh, what's this? This is bullcrap. It's like, well, yeah, you're at low SR where people just sit and spawn. Or sit in choke points where it's easy to hit people. That was actually... When your Pharaoh is ulting... Okay, now you're a little bit too deep. You hold your shield up as Reinhardt a little bit too long. Like, by the time you engage the enemy, they're already... Your shield's already at like 7,000 health. Which is just going to get torn up very quickly. 2,000 health isn't that huge of a deal for a big target like that. See, this spam you can kind of start eating. Get your Mercy some charge up. I guess it would technically give them some overcharge or ultimate. So you notice how they're hugging the left side? Oh, no, they're on the right side now. So this is where they're going to defend on this corner. But you need to back out of there. Your shield's gone.
Okay.
Well, that's Bastion.
I don't know what moved me there, but I was going for the Bastion. I missed. Have we had a win?
I would say with your Reinhardt, you actually aren't charging at all. And that's that. It wasn't terrible. It wasn't terrible performance. The thing is I think you just sent this review in because you're like, I don't know what to do against pirate ship. I have no idea what to do against it. Because your information, I have no other way to say it than like, I just know when the enemy team's push in. Like, you can feel it. So essentially you have to do the opposite side of the... Understand when the enemy's in spot for a push. When the enemy is here, they're going to do something. So that means when you see everyone in position, they're going to attack you. You don't want to be right around a corner. This is a corner and you're in Orisa or Reinhardt with a shield right here. Or in your case, you were actually like right here. So basically, the rest of your team was over here. The entire enemy team could shoot the bubble and you, but not hit your team. Essentially, it's just wasted shield, wasted everything. You got to get back here, so they have to show themselves around this corner and then take damage. That's what you're doing a lot of the time. But even before this, if you have a shield even up here, and you see they have a guy here and here behind some other cover, and like they're setting up to kick your ass. Don't just push up. You have to back up and put a shield down. That way, the enemy is visible to your team longer, and they can take more damage. I mean, this applies for Bastion, but it just applies for your normal push. Like, you're putting a shield right here while your team was over here. And so it's not doing anything. It's just getting destroyed because it's going to get hit from here all the way to this far line. And when people are over here, they could hit this far line. If they're sitting over here, like, they can all hit this. It's very easily to get taken down. But it's not really doing any worse. And so as the enemy pushes up and like They got a couple people here. Their DPSers are here and here. Like, they're just waiting. Like, something's about to happen. And you put a shield right here, of course these guys are just going to walk in and destroy it. Now, if you had the shield here, let's just, for this case, imagine if they all came around, and now they have to walk from here to here before they can hit your shield. Like this Reinhardt. He has to walk all the way, like he'll be visible at this point probably, and then he has to go all the way up here, and he can be killed and damaged and hurt, or he has to pull out the shield, which makes that entire trek slower, before he can get to your shield and get through it. This was your entire problem against Bastion as well as just the team. You have to start cutting off the angles. You have to start... it's like cutting off the angle. That's what I can think of it as. You're just pushing way too far up, especially when they're in a strong spot. Yeah, I mean, that's the big thing, and I guess that is information level type stuff. Your ability usage, also your logistics was absolute garbage. So remember, logistics, we throw ability usage in there just cause, but the main thing is how are you getting around? Are you in the spot you're supposed to be? And the truth is, your positioning was horrendous with Reinhardt. You died so many times in just the middle of everything. Like, you were shielding nothing, you were attacking nothing, you're just kind of out in nowhere against a Bastion, and you died like 5 or 6 times. Essentially, you can't be in the open against Bastion. If you put up your shield, it's going to have to be very shortly. It's for a specific reason. Like, your Bastion just jumped around the corner and turned into a turret. Alright, you gotta shield that guy. You gotta try to get him to get enough kills and survive. Other than that, like, you kind of gotta hide your face. You have to back up, you have to use fall-off damage, you have to, kind of do that. Or you have to hug a corner and get ready to jump him all at once. But that middle ground is, you can't be there, because you got killed before you could do anything. The reason why you're so frustrated is because you weren't even in position to do something. It's not like you fucked something up. It wasn't like you got ambushed or something where you're at. Like, you just couldn't get to where you could do some work. And that is this. But I think it is based on this because you actually have no idea how to deal with Bastion. And it's pretty clear from your Orisa and Reinhardt play that you just don't understand these angles of Overwatch. It all comes down to basically blinding yourself to as many people as possible and making them come up. So shield here, very visible, can be hit by everyone. No big risk for anyone. They can sit over there. As soon as you put a shield like here, okay, all of a sudden, they can get some stuff here, but they're going to be pushing up to this point, which they can get flanked on easily. Or they're going to ignore that and go all the way around, in which case you either got to fall back here, or you have to do the exact opposite and push in and kind of stop. This usually, you're going to need your team. Like, pushing in during this point, you need your team. So probably don't advise that. Yeah. Bastion was up here that one time, like, you stood up there for a while until your shield broke, because their team was focusing firing you and the Bastion, and your team was not. I mean, they just had more damage on the Bastion. You're losing that fight. You're losing the shield war immediately. And at this point, Reinhardt without a shield while everyone's, like, in this area. I mean, what are you going to do? As soon as you show your face, you're going to get shot. You don't have a shield up, so it's a tough spot to be. But for you personally, I think the Orisa, you're starting to pick up on the Orisa pick what the issue was. How they just kept on walking right through your shield and ulting. That's kind of classic Reinhardt versus Orisa. Yeah. Information, how to deal angles. That's how you deal with, pretty much how you deal with everything, actually. I say cut off the angle, and I mean so much. Logistics, like I said, it was, you were doing really bad here. You couldn't get to where you want because you didn't know how to do this. As for your ability usage, you didn't charge enough I mean, I would say like you weren't charging with Rein, but there was a reason for that because they had a Bastion. You try not to charge into a Bastion. Unless you can get a good angle on them, a good surprise, do it really quick. You're just kind of sitting in front of them. Positioning, again, was terrible. That's because of the whole chain of command. Action, your skill seemed fine, like mechanics, is what I'll call it. It seemed fine, yeah. It was all good enough. Overall, I mean, you played well. It's just that pirate ship, man. I also got a question that says, do you find aiming or positioning to be the more challenging skill? Aiming is always the more challenging. Like, positioning is easy to get to because it's more decision-based and you kind of do it. There's not much stopping you. It's just like, oh, did I do it right or didn't I? Mechanical skill is like, well, I hope it's good today. Like, it does vary. It's incredibly difficult to be up, up to the pro level of consistency every single day. That is a challenge. That's incredibly challenging. But the whole idea of this entire triangle is that it doesn't rely on skill. Skill is the top. Everything down here is all decision making. And the idea is to have your decision making so well that you require as little skill as possible. This essentially is the little guy's way to beat the big guy. It is what martial arts... This is like the martial art version of Overwatch. The choice of shield angle is similar to spacing in fighting games. Yeah, I mean, you could probably consider it that way. It's... Whenever you talk about spacing, I call it gating. In the martial art world, it's called gating. Understanding the space between the people. Like, if someone's, I don't have enough space. But if someone's outside my reach, or if I'm outside someone's reach, technically they do whatever they want, they can't hurt me. Unless they throw something at me, technically they can't hurt me. It's not a big deal. I don't gotta react to it. As soon as they get into that space, then I have to react. But to know that space is like, oh, I understand what... Like, I can take a look at them, I can understand how long their limbs are. I'm like, alright, this is the distance. This is how I deal with it. That's gating. It's just understanding spacing. So the whole thing about cutting off angles, it is about understanding spacing to a degree. But in fighting games, because you don't really deal with that third dimension, most of them at least, when you say cutting off the angle, I guess you can do that in 2D as well, but it's not as prevalent. So yeah, work on your gating. Just understanding spacing is all there. It's so goddamn important. People don't understand that. People only care about, can I shoot them in the face? Alright, that's it. I'm done. And then they'll talk about positioning to a low amount. They're like, oh yeah, you got good positioning, bad positioning. But really it's positioning is based on what they're running, and what they're running has a specific set of distance that each single character space they can take up. Like I said, Widow has really high suppression ability because of her high line of sight. So, alright, so this is what happens when it looks like this is when a Widow's on the field. This is what it looks like when Reinhardt's on the field. These are his ranges, these are his more or less gates. So, again, is that... Oh, that's the review. If there's no more questions, we'll hop on to the next one.